5, 4, 3,
2. Good morning, everyone. This is an update to a video that I did a couple of weeks ago. And so we'll get into the prime announcement, but then there are two others that you might find interesting. So stick around to the very end. So first, with respect to the Lansdowne Woods lawsuit and the implications thereof, in the last video, I was very clear. I'm not going to talk about the lawsuit itself. You know who the parties are, you know who the issues are, and I'm not going to talk about that. In the last video, I spoke of implications for Lansdowne Woods sellers because of the lawsuit. And that's what this update is about. I'm delighted to be able to say that in the last 2 days, and this video is being shot at the end of July of 2025, that in the last 2 days only, information has come to light so that instead of in the last video, I would say I had an analogy of a flashing red light. I think we have a flashing yellow light. You can proceed as normally, but perhaps with some caution. But I can state as of this morning, I do not think that any resident of Lansdowne Woods that will be selling in the immediate future will have any issues on resale because of the lawsuit. You can proceed as normally. Now, that brings to mind an interesting question. Andy, how can you say that? And I'd like to be able to share that with you. And at some point, this lawsuit will be in the rearview mirror. At some point, this kidney stone will have passed. But as of this moment, I can only say, trust me, if you're planning on selling, go ahead, proceed as normally, and it is highly unlikely that you'll have any sale issues because of the lawsuit. I can't say that categorically there will be none, but just highly, highly, highly unlikely based on information that's come to light to me in the past couple of days. And again, someday when this is over, we'll sit down over a coffee or something stronger if you wish, and I'll give you all the gory details. Okay, so that's announcement number one, and an important one. Completely unrelated to that, some of you may have heard that I have put together an informal group of Lansdowne Woods residents who are interested in replacing their HVAC systems, but have been recoiling in shock at just how expensive it is to replace an HVAC system. So I put together a group and gotten very aggressive pricing for people who want to replace their HVAC, kind of, sort of, more or less at the same time in the next month or so. If you're interested in replacing your HVAC and getting an unbelievably low price for today's market, I have to tell you, I have been very, very surprised at how much furnaces and air conditioning systems have gone up in the past couple of years. So it's not like this is a giveaway, but the discounts are substantial. So if any of you are interested in replacing your HVAC, then by all means, give me a call. Phone number 703-627-1999. Oh, how could I have forgotten? I started this video and didn't even introduce myself. So in the unlikely event there's anybody in Lansdowne Woods watching this who has no idea who I am, my name is Andy Norton. I am a realtor with Sampson Properties, as you can see behind me, and I'm also one of your neighbors. So in any case, that's the context of the group. You do not have to replace the HVAC in the next week or two. There are going to be, I think, at least 7 and maybe over 10, so that the contractor is going to have to get to everybody kind of, sort of, based on need. So at this particular time, everyone in the group has old but still functional furnaces and air conditioning units. If by any chance you say, yeah, I want to proceed, and then your unit dies, they'll push you to the front of the line. But in any case, if you want to do this at some point in the next reasonably near future and save a lot of money, contact me, 703-627-1999. The third announcement, unrelated to either of the previous two, but still very, very interesting, is that because we're in a senior community, there is what I will call basic logic, and then there's going to be government redefining of basic logic. A first-time home buyer, one would think, would be somebody buying a home for the first time. That would be the logical conclusion if I said, what's a first-time home buyer? But the government has redefined what a first-time home buyer is. And a first-time home buyer now is not somebody that's never owned a home before. It's somebody that hasn't owned a home in the past 3 years. So, as an example, in the context of Lansdowne Woods, let's say you know somebody who's renting and they bought their first home at 20, and maybe they got married and bought a succession of homes and owned a gazillion homes until age 60, and then moved into Lansdowne Woods at age 60 as a tenant. If they've been renting for 3 years, suddenly they're a first-time home buyer all over again. And there are numerous programs in the Commonwealth of Virginia to assist first-time home buyers, including residents of Lansdowne Woods who might be renting, who would like to buy. And some of those benefits are extraordinary. An example of what I think is extraordinary, let's say as of today, the mortgage rate was 6.5%. With these programs, for first-time home buyers, you can get a 30-year fixed-rate loan for 2% under market. So if it's 6.5% today, you'd be getting 30 years at 4.5%. That's amazing. There's also grant money that you don't have to pay back, so that if you need down payment help, you can get that. Essentially, the Commonwealth of Virginia is trying to assist people who are not home buyers to become home buyers. So if you're seeing this and you're a renter in Lansdowne Woods, this could apply to you. But also, if you have family members anywhere in Virginia who happen to be renting, this is a great deal. So again, give me a call, 703-627-1999, and I can put you in touch with a mortgage lender that handles these kinds of programs. So in any case, that's our announcement for today. Again, with respect to the implications of the lawsuit on resale. Again, not the lawsuit specifics. Pay attention, folks, not the lawsuit specifics. The resale implications, you've got a flashing yellow light. Proceed with caution, but you should have no problems. With respect to HVACs, if any of you are interested in replacing your HVAC, do contact me. The pricing we're getting is very impressive, And by the way, it's for Carrier, so you'd be replacing Carrier with Carrier, fully warranted, Anyway, and then with respect to this first-time home buyer thing, an interesting wrinkle, and I'll close out with this. Most people who are looking to buy a home start out a few months early looking, so that if you have been renting for 2.5 years, for example, you might want to start looking now so that when you have 3 years, you'll have your 3 years in, and then you can buy as a first-time home buyer. Anyway, thank you for your attention this morning, and in all likelihood, you will see this on my YouTube channel and also on Facebook. And if you see this on the YouTube channel, as always on YouTube videos, be sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks very much, everybody.